and welcome to Sri Lanka Morning Show. Ayubowan.
ඉර ඇවිත් ගිහින් සඳ ඇවිත් ගිහින් රන්තරුත් නැවිත් යලි යන්න ගිහින් මට ඉරත් නුබයි සුදු සඳත් නුබයි රන්තරුත් නුබයි අඟවමින් වසන්තයත් ගතවෙමින් සසර පුරා එක මගක සරා අපියා හැටි තව මතකයි හැම භවය පුරා අපි හමු වෙනවා නුඹ සපත කළා මතකයි මේ වසන්තයේ මල් පිපිසලි නුඹ කොහේ කියා විමසයි ඉර ඇවිත් ගිහින් සඳ ඇවිත් ගිහින් රන්තරුත් නැවිත් යලි යන්න ගිහින් මට ඉරත් නුබයි සුදු සඳත් නුබයි රන්තරුත් නුබයි අඟවමින් වසන්තයත් ගතවෙමින් මිසක ආදරය කියූ වෙන කිසිම කෙනෙකු නොමැති ගතවෙන්න කලින් මේ වසන්තයේ අප හමුවිය යුතුව ඇති සිත ඔකඳ කෙරූ පෙම් සුවඳ දිගේ මා සොයා එන්න සැනහි ඉර ඇවිත් ගිහින් සඳ ඇවිත් ගිහින් රන්තරුත් නැවිත් යලි යන්න ගිහින් මට ඉරත් නුබයි සුදු සඳත් නුබයි රන්තරුත් නුබයි අඟවමින් වසන්තයත් ගතවෙමින් වසන්තයත් ගතවෙමින් වසන්තයත් ගතවෙමින්
Please support Oslamat to provide urgent medical assistance to Sri Lanka. Cyclone Ditwa has brought catastrophic damage to Sri Lanka, leaving thousands of people displaced and vulnerable to outbreaks of waterborne diseases. Your generosity can save lives. Please donate through our website oslamat.org/donations or contact us directly to support this emergency effort. Oslamat is an ACNC registered not-for-profit medical charity with Australian DRG status. All donations are tax deductible. Please contact Dr. Irosha Premaratna at 0437 321 105 for more information.
The Voluntary Outreach Club proudly presents New Year's Eve Dinner Dance 2026, 31st December 2025, from 6:30 p.m. to 1 a.m. at Grand on Prince's, Mulgrave. Bands, Ebony, and Hitchhikers. For more details,
Birdie 04149 79483. Anton 04 195 16882.
Valentine's Day Dinner Dance 2026, 14th of Feb, be held at the Princess Grand, Mulgrave, buffet dinner, BYO drink, beer and wine will be supplied. Bands will be the Hitchhikers, and we will be getting some international stars. Susie Krona from Switzerland, Damien Vikramatilka from Sri Lanka, and a young up-and-coming musician and singer, Karen Pereira from Sri Lanka as well. Please contact me, Bertie Akanaka, on 0414 979 483 or Frank Akanaka on 0414 979 401. See you there.
Aibowan, my name is Dr. Sam Dasanayake. I'm an Ayurvedic doctor practicing in Melbourne. And today in this Ayurvedic segment, we would like to bring you very seasonal, useful information about Ayurvedic diet. Now it is very important to know the festive season is coming. We will have many occasions, many different sumptuous food prepared by you, served to you, attend many functions. This is the festive season. This is a time to enjoy with your family, and of course overdo it. That's okay, because it's just coming once a year. But yet you have to be very mindful. Now, a very popular among this festive season is tuna, salmon, prawn, cuttlefish, crabs, and red meat. It's not festive unless you include all of them or many of them. Okay, so these things in Ayurvedic pharmacopoeia of Ayurveda is very heaty. Tuna, salmon, prawn, cuttlefish, crab, seafood, and red meat. Now be mindful. Be mindful. If you are in Sri Lanka, if you are in a buffet, just because it's available, because it's there, just try to limit yourself. Don't eat all of them. Okay, so this is the thing to satisfy your mind, desires. As we all know, the desires will always end up in catastrophic and painful for people. But festive season, I'm all there for people to enjoy, but be mindful. If you have a lot more prawn and prawn stir fry, prawn seafood rice, deviled prawns, hot buttered cuttlefish, just be mindful. Don't indulge and overdo it, and then you will feel like you can't have enough sleep, your body is heating up, your heels are cracking, and your tongue get blisters, and you can have like cold sores. Cool your body. Make sure your bowel movements are regular, morning and evening. Make sure you will have some coconut water. Make sure you will have some salad that incorporates some yogurt, mint. Make sure, if you can, have some kotamalli. So these things will cool your body. Summer is there, of course. Along with it, have some watermelon. A little bit more watermelon, little bit more cucumber. So these things will cool your body. If your body is heating, if you have blisters in your tongue, of course, then that needs a little bit some therapeutic aspect to it. Then have some saw, barley, coconut water. So these things are important for you to understand and remedy it straight away. Most people just continue to, today same or similar, tomorrow also engaging, day after and the day after. So this will heat up your body. Not only heating up your body, it will hurt your eyes, it will give you headaches, it will give you problems in filtration and urination, it will have a burning sensation. So those are giveaways. Your body is heating up. Have plenty of water, eat a lot of green vegetables. What are the important vegetables? Karavila, Vatakulu, Patola, Murunga, Mallung, bitter gourd, snake gourd, ridge gourd, bottle gourd, moringa. Very important. If you are making a mallung with spinach, kale, silverbeet, bok choy, samchoy, use a little bit of ghee. Ghee is a coolant. Sweat the spinach with a little bit of ghee, 2 minutes. Himalayan pink salt and black pepper. Very important. And if you have blisters, the home remedies, put some ghee in your tongue, in your lip. But more to the point is that we need to make sure our body is cooling, not overheating. Excess amount of proteins, if your metabolism is slow, will always end up in having more amino acid. So that will induce crystallization of uric acid. That is in essence is gout. So that is because excessive. Drink a lot of water, coconut water, and make sure your bowel movements are regular. Lots of green leaves, green vegetables, and red meat. Red meat, if your metabolism is good, well, you can survive. But if you have, again, a lot of beef. Now beef, if you cook, yes, there is a certain amount of balance because you are using coriander, ginger, black pepper, cumin, black cumin. These are all cumin, very cooling. So this will reduce the heat and softens the muscle fiber, so it's easy to digest. But most often than not, during festive season, the beef is served as a steak. Most people will like to have it as medium or medium rare. It's pink in the middle, so it's not really completely cooked. And instead of using the spices, they will use a steak sauce. Of course, it's tasty. I'm sure it's tasty. I'm a vegetarian, but that's why people take it, people eat it. But when you go home, for the next day, just boil some mung atta and have the mung atta water and eat mung atta. Mung atta is a coolant. Sago, sao, barley. So these things we need to do. If you continue to eat like this, accompanied with red wine, that will induce the acidity in your body. Most people, festive times, there's no limitless amount of red wine. Red or white equally, you can't abuse it and expect things to be normal. So be mindful, Yes, celebrate, enjoy, but think about the essence of the spirit of the festive season. It's about extending and healing with love, kindness and compassion. These are the essence. This is what we need to get to our heart and forgive and get along and celebrate. So that's the spirit of Christmas, New Year, and celebrating with your families. So I hope you will be first safe and enjoy and celebrate with a lot of kindness, love and compassion. And until we meet again, Aibowan.
Easy Hose spring sale is now on. Upgrade your garden reels and sprays today and save. Save on quality garden sprays. Save up to 30% on Australian-made Easy Hose garden reels. Stocks are limited.
Sanji Caldera Associates. With our headquarters based in Melbourne, Australia, you can locate our branch offices in Sri Lanka, Dubai, Canada and London, UK. Some of our services include skilled migration visa, family migration visa, employer sponsorship visa, temporary resident visa, business visa, tourist visa, student visa, administrative appeals tribunal review. Pursuit of excellence through tailored solutions.
The science of life, traditionally known as the Ayurveda. Consultations, diagnosis and treatments are done by fully qualified Ayurvedic practitioner Dr. Sam Dasanai. Sahandro Ayurvedic Center, best wellness experience.
Looking to buy a new hose reel but confused over quality? And you want to buy a locally made hose reel? Look for the genuine Australian-made AK Reels hose reels. Heavy-duty Australian design and patent. Using Australian-made hoses that last. By AK Reels, the Australian-made hose reels.
Abacus Solar, latest and reliable solar systems, world best panels and inverters, price beat guarantee, supervised system installation, excellent after-sales service. Call 1300 852 843.
News Weekly is brought to you by Elsdan, a Tremor company, the hose specialist. Evzan Plastics Proprietary Limited, 525 to 527 Hammond Road, Dandenong South.
අයිබෝවන් සතියේ ප්‍රධාන ප්‍රවෘත්ති ප්‍රකාශ සමගින් මම තුෂාර ප්‍රනාන්දු. මුලින්ම අවධානය ප්‍රධාන ප්‍රවෘත්ති සිරස්තල වෙතට. නුවර මාර්ගය යළි විවෘතයි. මහවැලියෙන් හානි වූ පේරාදෙණිය කළු පාලම ගැන තීරණයක්. ආපදා මරණ 627 පසු කරයි. 199ක් තවමත් අතුරුදහන්. ජීවිත යථා තත්ත්වයට පත් කිරීමට යටිතල පහසුකම් ප්‍රතිසංස්කරණය ආරම්භයි. ආපදාවෙන් පීඩාවට පත් ජනතාව වෙනුවෙන් ආනයනය කරන අත්‍යවශ්‍ය ද්‍රව්‍ය වලින් විශේෂ වෙළඳ භාණ්ඩ බද්ධ ඉවතට. පැහැදිලි ආපදා කළමනාකරන වැඩපිළිවෙලක් රටට අවශ්‍ය බව විපක්ෂ නායක පවසයි. මනුසත් දෙරණ සහන ක්‍රියාන්විතය හරහා නන් විසින් ලැබුණු ආධාර ආපදාවට ලක් වූ ජනතාව අතට පත්වේ. දිට්වා සුලිකුණාටුවත් සමග ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ සිදු වූ ආපදා තත්ත්වයෙන් විපතට පත් ජනතාවට සහන සැලසීමේ වැඩසටහන යටතේ ඉන්දියානු රජය අඛණ්ඩව සිය සහාය පළ කිරීම සඳහා වියලි ආහාර ද්‍රව්‍ය සහ රෙදිපිලි ඇතුළු අත්‍යවශ්‍ය ද්‍රව්‍යමය ආධාර සහිත මෙට්‍රික් ටොන් 300ක් පමණ නෞකාවක් කොළඹට ළඟා වුණා. එම අවස්ථාවට ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ඉන්දියානු කොමසාරිස්තුමාද සහභාගී වී සිටියා.
සුලිකුණාටුවත් සමග ඇති වූ ආපදා තත්ත්වය හේතුවෙන් විපතට පත් මෙරට ජනතාවට සහන සැලසීමේ වැඩපිළිවෙල යටතේ ඉන්දියානු රජය අඛණ්ඩව සිය සහාය පළ කරමින් වියලි ආහාර ද්‍රව්‍ය සහ රෙදිපිලි ඇතුළු ද්‍රව්‍යමය ආධාර මෙට්‍රික් ටොන් 300ක් රැගත් නෞකාවක් අද පස්වරුවේ කොළඹට ළඟා වුණා. එම අවස්ථාවට මෙරට ඉන්දිය මහ කොමසාරිස් සන්තෝෂ් ජා සහ අමාත්‍ය වසන්ත සමරසිංහ යන මහත්වරුන් ඇතුළු පිරිසක් එක්ව සිටියා.
We are very happy to be able to do this, and we will continue this effort to now move towards reconstruction rehabilitation phase.
හෙට දවසේ ත්‍රිකුණාමල වරායට එනවා තවත් 600කට ආසන්න ආහාර සහ ඇඳුම් වර්ග. මේ සියල්ල ඉන්දියානු රජය මෙතෙක් ලබා දීපු විවිධ සහයෝගයන් එක්ක තවදුරටත් අප රටේ ජනතාව මේ මුහුණ දීපු දුෂ්කරතාවයෙන් ගොඩේම සඳහා ලබා දෙන, ඔවුන්ට සහාය වීම සඳහා ලබා දෙන සහනයන්. මේ සියලු සහනයන් ඒ දුෂ්කරතාවයට පත්වෙච්ච ජනතාවට ලබා දීම සඳහා අපි කටයුතු කරනවා.
ගංගුතරෙන් පීඩාවට පත් ශ්‍රී ලාංකීය ජනතාව වෙනුවෙන් ඉන්දිය රජය ලබා දුන් ජංගම රෝහල් දෙකෙන් එකක් පසුගියදා මහියංගනේ රෝහල අසල ස්ථාපිත කර රෝගී සත්කාර සිදු කිරීම ආරම්භ කරනු ලැබුවා. මේ අතර විපතට පත් ජනතාවට සහන සැලසීමේ අරමුණින් මියන්මාරයේ සිට ආධාර රැගත් එරට දූත පිරිසක් සහිත හමුදා ගුවන් යානයක් එරටට ළඟා වුණා. මෙම ආධාර තොගයට සනීප ආරක්ෂක තුවා, වෛද්‍ය ආධාර මෙන්ම අනිකුත් අත්‍යවශ්‍ය ද්‍රව්‍ය ඇතුළත්. ආපදා තත්ත්වයෙන් විපතට පත් වූ ජනතාවගේ පෝෂණ මට්ටම ස්ථාවරව තබා ගැනීම සඳහා ඔස්ට්‍රේලියානු රාජ්‍ය අතිරේක පෝෂණීය ආහාරයක් ලෙස සකස් කළ බිස්කට් මෙට්‍රික් ටොන් 10.2ක් අද මෙරටට එවනු ලැබුවා. ඒවායෙහි වටිනාකම ඔස්ට්‍රේලියානු ඩොලර් මිලියන 3.5ක්. එම බිස්කට් මාතලේ සහ නුවරඑළිය දිස්ත්‍රික්කවල සුරක්ෂිතතා මධ්‍යස්ථානවල සහ හුදකලා වී සිටින ජනතාවට ලබා දීමට නියමිතයි. මේ අතර ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ පසු ආපදා තත්ත්වය කළමනාකරණය කිරීම සඳහා සහාය වන ලෙස ශ්‍රී ලංකාව සිදු කළ ඉල්ලීමකට අනුව ඇමරිකානු ගුවන් හමුදාව සතු C-130 හර්කියුලිස් ගුවන් යාන දෙකක් අද පස්වරුවේ කටුනායක ගුවන් හමුදා කඳවුරට ළඟා වුණා. තායිලන්තයේ පිහිටි ඇමරිකානු ගුවන් හමුදා කඳවුරක සිට පැමිණි මෙම යානා සමග එක්සත් ජනපද හමුදාවට අයත් ගලවා ගැනීමේ මැරයින් පටේන් 60ක්ද දිවයිනට පැමිණියා.
ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ආපදා සඳහා සහන කණ්ඩායම් වීරෝදාර කාර්යයක් සිදු කරමින් සිටිනවා. අපි මෙහි පැමිණ සිටින්නේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ඉදිරි පෙළ කණ්ඩායම් වලට ජනතාව කෙරෙහි අවධානය යොමු කළ හැකි වන පරිදි දැඩි ලෙස පීඩාවට පත් ප්‍රදේශවලට තීරණාත්මක සැපයුමක් ලබා දීමට.
වගා හානි වෙනුවෙන් ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ඉතිහාසය ලබා දුන් වැඩිම වන්දි මුදල් ලබා දෙන බවත් යලි වගා කටයුතු කඩිනමින් ආරම්භ කිරීම රජයේ අපේක්ෂාව වන බවත් ජනාධිපති අනුර කුමාර දිසානායක මහතා පවසනවා. ඒ මහතා මේ බව ප්‍රකාශ කළේ අනුරාධපුර දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ විශේෂ කමිටු රැස්වීමකට සහභාගී වෙමින්.
ආපදා තත්ත්වය හේතුවෙන් පීඩාවට පත් අනුරාධපුර දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ ජනතාවගේ ජනජීවිතයේ යථාතත්වයට පත් කිරීම සහ යටිතල පහසුකම් සංවර්ධනය වෙනුවෙන් ක්‍රියාත්මක වැඩපිළිවෙල පිළිබඳ සොයා බැලීම සඳහා විශේෂ සම්බන්ධීකරණ කමිටු රැස්වීමක් ජනාධිපති අනුර කුමාර දිසානායක මහතාගේ ප්‍රධානත්වයෙන් අනුරාධපුර දිස්ත්‍රික් ලේකම් කාර්යාලයේදී පැවැත්වුණා. ඊට මහජන නියෝජිතයින් මෙන්ම රාජ්‍ය නිලධාරීන් ඇතුළු පිරිසක් එක්ව සිටියා.
කුසිකර්ම ඒ කියන්නේ වගාවන් ගැන කවුද කියන්න පුළුවන්? කුසිකර්ම දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවෙන් කරන තැන් තියෙනවද? ගෝජන සේවා දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවෙන් තියෙනවද? දෙකම එකට කියන්න පුළුවන් කාට හරි ඉන්නවද?
ඔව් දැනට අපි හෙක්ටයාර් 98305ක් වගා කරලා තිබ්බා මේ වී වගාව. ඒකෙන් දැනට 100%ක් හානිලා තියෙනවා හෙක්ටයාර් 20662ක්. ඒකෙන් අපිට දැනට වගා කරන්න පුළුවන් තත්ත්වයේ තියෙන හෙක්ටයාර් 17442ක්.
පැහැදිලි ආපදා කළමනාකරන වැඩපිළිවෙලක් අත්‍යවශ්‍ය බව විපක්ෂ නායක සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මහතා පවසනවා. ගංවතුර හේතුවෙන් දොම්පේ ප්‍රදේශයේ මහා පරිමාණ කර්මාන්ත ශාලාවකට සිදුව ඇති විනාශය පිළිබඳ නිරීක්ෂණය කිරීම සඳහා එම ප්‍රදේශයේ සංචාරයක නිරත වුණු අවස්ථාවේදී එම මහතා මේ බව ප්‍රකාශ කළා.
පසුගියදා ඇති වූ ගංවතුර හේතුවෙන් දොම්පේ ප්‍රාදේශීය ලේකම් කොට්ඨාසය තුළ පිහිටි මහා පරිමාණ කර්මාන්ත ශාලාවලට සිදුව ඇති විනාශය නිරීක්ෂණය කිරීම සඳහා විපක්ෂ නායක සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මහතා එම ප්‍රදේශයේ සංචාරයක නිරත වුණා. සමගි ජනබලවේග පාර්ලිමේන්තු මන්ත්‍රී හර්ෂණ රාජකරුණා මහතාද ඔහු සමග ඊට එක්ව සිටියා.
යූස් කරන්න බෑ මේවා චෙක් කරන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට අපේ ටෝටල් මේ ලොස් එක බලුවම 2 බිලියන් විතර. දැන් මේ වගේ ඒවා විසිට් කරාද ඇවිල්ලා ගවර්න්මන්ට් ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් අපිට ඇවිල්ලා ඩොකියුමන්ට් එකක් දීලා තියෙනවා විස්තර දෙන්න කියලා. ප්‍රාදේශීය එච්චරයි ඊට පස්සේ නම් මොකද අපි දන්නේ. අත්‍යවශ්‍යම මේ ආයතන ගොඩනගන්නට ආරක්ෂා කරන්නට ශක්තිමත් කරන්නට කැප වෙන්නට ඕන. ඒ මොකද මේ ආයතන හරහා විශාල වශයෙන් ග්‍රාමීය නාගරික ආර්ථිකයක් නඩත් වෙනවා. දැනෙන ආකාරයට තවමත් මේ ආයතනවලට විධිමත් ඉක්මන් වැඩසටහනක් ක්‍රියාත්මක වීමක් සිදු වෙලා නැහැ. බරපතලම කාරණාව තමයි අවදානම් සහිත තත්ත්වයක් නිර්මාණය වෙනවා කියන පණිවිඩය. ඇයි මේ රටේ ජනතාවට මේ වගේ ආයතනවලට සමස්ත ප්‍රජාවට නොලැබුණේ? ඒක බරපතල කාරණාවක්. මොකද ඒ පණිවිඩය ලැබුණා නම් අඩුම ගානේ මේ හානිය තරමක් දුරට හෝ අවම කරගන්නට හැකියාව තිබුණා.
ආපදා තත්ත්වය හමුවේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ පාසල් 1000කට ආසන්න ප්‍රමාණයක් බලපෑමට ලක්ව ඇති අතර පාසල් දරුවන් ලක්ෂයක් පමණ පීඩාවට පත්ව ඇති බවයි අධ්‍යාපන අමාත්‍යාංශය පවසන්නේ.
දිට්වා සුලිකුණාටුව දිවයිනට කඩා වැදුනේ මෙරට තරඟකාරීම විභාගයක් වන උසස් පෙළ විභාගය පැවැත්වෙමින් තිබියදී. පැවති තත්වය හමුවේ උසස් පෙළ විභාගයේද කල්දමීමට තීරණය කෙරුණු අතර විභාගයට පෙනී සිටින සිසුවියන් පිරිසක්ද ආපදාවලට මැදි වුණා. ගංගතුර හා නායම් බොහෝ ප්‍රදේශවල පාසල් දරුවන්ගේ හෙට දවසට එල්ල කර ඇත්තේ දැඩි බලපෑමක්. මේ ගම්පොල දොළුව ප්‍රදේශයේ සුරක්ෂිත මධ්‍යස්ථානයක රැඳී සිටින එවන් පිරිසක්.
ගෙදරට යන්න පාරක් නෑනේ. එතකොට පාරකුත් නෑ, පොත් එහෙම ගන්නත් බෑද. දැන් අදත් ක්ලාස් ඒ ගියෙත් නෑ. සමහරක් විට අපේ අම්මලා එහෙම මෙහෙන් යයි. තව ආයෙ පාරක් වැස්සොත් අපේ ගෙදරත් නැතිව එතකොට කොහොම එක්සෑම් ලියන්න වෙයිද කියලා හිතා ගන්න බැරුව මම මේ ඉන්නේ.
ඔයා කී වසරද පුතේ? 13. ඒලව. මෙසර එක්සෑම් ලිව්වද? ඔව්. තව එකක් තියෙනවා ලියන්න. උසස් පෙළට මොනවද කළේ? 8.
මම මේ දවස්වල A-level විභාගේ ලියන ගමන් ඉන්නේ. තව 20ක් තියෙනවා ලියන්න. ප්‍රශ්නත් එක්ක අපිට ගොඩක් අමාරුයි. මේ කන්දේ උඩ පිපිච්ච ප්‍රශ්නෙත් එක්ක අපිට ගොඩක් අමාරුයි අධ්‍යාපන කටයුතු කරගන්න.
මම ලබන අවුරුද්දේ විභාගය ලියනවා. අපේ ගෙදර සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම නාය ගියා. ඒ නිසා අපිට පොත් මොකුත් නැහැ. පොත් ඔක්කොම විනාශ වෙලා. අපිට පුළුවන් නම් උදව් කරන්න.
ඉස්කෝලේ වැඩ දැන් කොහොමද කරන්නේ?
කරන්න නම් බෑ. නාය එහෙම ගිහිල්ලානේ. ඒවා එහෙම තෙමිලා.
තෙමිලා? ඔව්. එතකොට දැන් බබාට ඉස්කෝලේ යන්න ඕනේ වුණාම මොනවද ඕනේ?
බෑග්, පැන්සල්, පොත් ඒවා ඕනේ.
මෙලෙසම තවත් ප්‍රදේශවලින් ආපදා හේතුවෙන් පීඩාවට පත් දරුවන් අපට මුණ ගැසුණා.
පසුගියදා ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ඇති වූ දිට්වා සුලිකුණාටුවෙන් සහනයක් පිළිසරණක් නොලද වැසියන් වෙසෙන ගම්මාන තවමත් පවතින බව ප්‍රකාශ වෙනවා. එවැනි ගම්මානයක් පසුගියදා කොත්මලේ ප්‍රදේශයෙන් සොයාගත්තා.
ඇත්තටම මේ කරන්ට් එක නැති හින්දා මිනිස්සුන්ට ඒකින්ද තමයි තෙල් ගේන්න හිතුවේ. මොකද කවුරුත් භූමි තෙල් ගේන්නේ නැහනේ. ඒකින්ද තමයි අපි ගෙනාවේ භූමි තෙල්.
කොත්මලේ ප්‍රදේශයේ සංචාරය කරන අතරතුර මග දෙපස රැස්ව සිටින ආපදාවලින් බලපෑමට ලක් වූ ප්‍රදේශවාසීන් අද දෙරණට සිය ගැටලු මෙලෙස ඉදිරිපත් කළා.
අපි රැඳිලා ඉන්නේ කොත්මලේට යන අතරවාරි ගම්මානවල. අපි දකිනවා කිලෝමීටර ගාණක්. ඉතින් බොහෝ දෙනෙක් පයින් ඇවිදගෙන පාර දෙපැත්තේ එනවා. සහ වාහන එනකොට අත දානවා. මොනවා හරි දෙන්න කියලා ඉල්ලනවා. ඔබතුමියලා දැන් කොයි ගමේද ඉන්නේ මේ?
අපි හෙල්බඩ මෙතන. ඔව් අපේ ගමට ඉතින් කිසිම දෙයක් හම්බුන්නේ නැහැ සර්. අපි ලෙඩ්ඩු තියාගෙන ගෙවලුත් ගිහිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ. බෑවුන් ගිහිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ.
පොඩි බබාලා දෙන්නෙක් ඉනවා. අපි දැන් සතිය එකමාරක් විතර කාරුවල ඉන්නේ සර්. ලාමු තෙල් ටිකක් දෙන්නේ නැහැ කවුරු. ඇත්තටම ගොඩක් අසරණ වෙලා
ඉන්නේ.
නිලධාරියත් තාම ආවේ නැහැ අපේ ගෙදරකට. ඇවිල්ලා මොනවාද කෑවේ බිව්වේ කියලා බලන්න ආවේ නැහැ. අපේ ගෙවල් වල ලෙඩ්ඩු ඉන්නවා. පැන්ඩෝල් පෙත්තක් වක් ගෙනත් දෙන්න ආවේ නැහැ. මෙතන ඉන්නවා නම් 200ක් 200කින් අහන්න මහත්තයා.
සාමාන්‍ය මනුස්සයෙක් කියලා කිසිම දෙයක් ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ. රජයෙන් කියලා දෙය අපිට හාලට තරමක් දීලා නැහැ. දෙරණෙන් විතරයි අපිට ඇත්තටම මේ සහයෝගය අපිට ලබා දුන්නේ. අපිට දෙරණ විශ්වාසින්ද තමයි සර් අපි ඔයාලගේ පස්සෙන් දුවගෙන අතවනවා නම් ඉන්නේ.
මහවැලි ගඟ පිටාර ගැලීම හේතුවෙන් මහනුවර දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ පාසල් රැසකට බරපතල හානි සිදුව තිබෙනවා. එලෙස ගංවතුරෙන් හානි වූ මහනුවර ගැටපේ මහාවිද්‍යාලය යථා තත්ත්වයට පත් කිරීම සඳහා ගාල්ල සංගමිත්තා බාලිකා විද්‍යාලයේ ආදි ශිෂ්‍ය සමාජිකාවන් 80 දෙනෙක් පමණ එහි පැමිණ පිරිසිදු කිරීමේ කටයුතු වල නිරත වුණා.
මහවැලි ගඟ පිටාර ගැලීම හේතුවෙන් මහනුවර දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ පාසල් රැසකට බරපතල හානි සිදුව තිබෙනවා. එලෙස ගංවතුරෙන් හානි වූ මහනුවර ගැටබේ මහානාම විද්‍යාලය යථාවත් කිරීම සඳහා ගල්ල සංගමිත්තා බාලිකා විද්‍යාලයේ ආදිශිෂ්‍ය සංගමේ සමාජිකාවන් 80 දෙනෙක් එහි පැමිණ පිරිසිදු කිරීම කටයුතු සිදු කරනු ලැබුවා.
ආපදා තත්ත්වයේ බලපෑමට ලක් වූ පුද්ගලයින්ට පහසුකම් සැලසීම සඳහා ක්‍රියාත්මක ව්‍යාපෘතියක් යටතේ ආනයනය කරන අත්‍යවශ්‍ය භාණ්ඩ විශේෂ වෙළඳ බද්දයෙන් නිදහස් කිරීමට අදාළ ගැසට් නිවේදනය ප්‍රකාශයට පත් කර තිබෙනවා.
දිට්වා සුලිකුණාටුවේ බලපෑමට ලක් වූ පුද්ගලයින්ට පහසුකම් සැලසීම සඳහා ක්‍රියාත්මක ව්‍යාපෘතිය යටතේ ආනයනය කරන අත්‍යවශ්‍ය භාණ්ඩ විශේෂ වෙළඳ භාණ්ඩ බද්දෙන් නිදහස් කරමින් රාජ්‍ය ගැසට් නිවේදනයක් නිකුත් කර තිබෙනවා. අදාළ ගැසට් නිවේදනය දෙසැම්බර් මාස 5 වෙනි දින සිට වසරක කාල සීමාවක් සඳහා බලපෑත්වෙනු ඇති. ඒ අනුව විදේශ රාජ්‍යයන් ව්‍යාපාරික ආයතන ස්වේච්ඡා සංවිධාන වෙතින් ඕනෑම රාජ්‍ය ආයතනයකට රජය මගින් අනුමත ආයතනවලට හා යම් රාජ්‍ය ආයතන සමග ඍජු සහයෝගීතාවයෙන් සහන ක්‍රියාකාරකම් වල නියුක්ත ආයතන සඳහා පරිත්‍යාග වශයෙන් ලැබෙන අත්‍යවශ්‍ය භාණ්ඩ වලින් විශේෂ වෙළඳ භාණ්ඩ බද්ද අය කෙරෙන්නේ නැහැ.
මේ සමගින් අද නියමිත සතියේ ප්‍රධාන ප්‍රවෘත්ති ප්‍රකාශය නිමාවට පත්වෙනවා. මෙම ප්‍රවෘත්ති ප්‍රකාශ නැවත නැරඹීමට ශ්‍රී ලංකා Morning Show YouTube channel වෙතට යොමු වන්න. ඔබ සැමට සුවදායි සතියක්. ආයුබෝවන්.
Abacus Solar, latest and reliable solar systems, world best panels and inverters, price beat guarantee, supervised system installation, excellent after sales service. Call 1300 852 843.
Easy Hose spring sale is now on. Upgrade your garden reels and sprays today and save. Save on quality garden sprays. Save up to 30% on Australian made Easy Hose garden reels. Stocks are limited.
Sanji Caldera Associates. With our headquarters based in Melbourne, Australia, you can locate our branch offices in Sri Lanka, Dubai, Canada and London, UK. Some of our services include skilled migration visa, family migration visa, employer sponsorship visa, temporary resident visa, business visa, tourist visa, student visa, administrative appeals tribunal review. Pursuit of excellence through tailored solutions.
The science of life, traditionally known as the Ayurveda. Consultations, diagnosis and treatments are done by fully qualified Ayurvedic practitioner Dr. Sam Dasanai. Sahandro Ayurvedic Center, best wellness experience.
Looking to buy a new hose reel but confused over quality? And you want to buy a locally made hose reel? Look for the genuine Australian made AK Reels hose reels. Heavy duty Australian design and patent. Using Australian made hoses that last. By AK Reels, the Australian made hose reels.
Good morning, everyone. Today we're here at Glen Smiles Dental Clinic in Glen Waverley, and I'm joined with Dr. Sachin Gamagir. Good morning, Dr. Gamagir. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me here.
Now, Dr. Gamagir, in our previous segments, we've always talked about what goes on inside the mouth. But today I'm a bit interested to talk about dentistry as a career. So there are a lot of year 11 and 12s who are either going into their VCE phase or they're either close to finishing it. So if they're interested in choosing dentistry as an option, what advice would you give, sharing your own personal experiences?
Yeah, I think if they're interested in healthcare in general, like, you know, if they're looking at medicine, physiotherapy, the other healthcare industries, I'd strongly recommend for them to have a look at dentistry as well. Dentistry has a lot of benefits. You get to help people. You're always interacting with people and sort of helping them get out of pain and other things. You're also building a lot of relationships with your patients. So it's a very good profession in that sense, and also has very good work-life balance in the sense that there's a bit of flexibility. You know, you can choose like which days you want to work. Potentially a little bit easier than some of the other professions. Usually there isn't really any late night sort of shifts and things. It has a lot of benefits, and it's very rewarding for someone that's always looking to learn something new. You know, because like people think, what does a dentist do? And they may think like it's about taking teeth out and filling and things like that. That is definitely a part of dentistry, but there's a lot more that you can work on. So, you know, there's cosmetic things that you can learn, implants. Even some dentists play some role even in like sleep apnea. So there's some appliances that we can make to help with that. So there is quite a lot of things within dentistry that someone can do.
Right, now what about your personal experience? How did you get into dentistry? What was your path like straight out of high school?
Yeah, so I always liked medicine and the health field. And then I did biomedical science first. I was still looking to get into medicine, but then at that time when I was applying, I paid more attention to what my dad did because he's a dentist, and so I paid more attention and I got more interested in dentistry. And then when I got more interviews for dentistry at that time, I just considered it more closely. And then when I got in, it was really after I got in, I really enjoyed it, and like enjoyed it more and more every year because I really like the hands-on parts, because I personally like doing things hands-on. So that's another benefit of dentistry. If you like doing like things with your hands and things like that, there's a lot of benefits to that because the time when you work goes quickly. It's very interesting as well, and especially like I always grew up playing sports. I think if you're someone that's like into sport, I think dentistry has a benefit because it's like a craft in a way similar to sport. Like, you know, you're trying to get good at that actual procedure. It's kind of like similar to any other craft. So if you're sort of driven in that way, it can be, I think, a really beneficial
So
career.
there's kind of like a skills-based approach where practice essentially makes perfect in dentistry,
Yeah,
is that
so
correct?
it's very similar to, I guess, maybe like a painter or like an athlete, like trying to like improve their specific skills. So I think like that part is something that motivated me. So I think it depends on the person, but if you feel like you're driven in that way, it's definitely like a worthwhile field to consider.
That was a great analogy, Dr. Gamagir. Now my next question is about uni applications. So if there's a candidate in Australia who wants to pursue dentistry, what could their uni pathway look like? Or what are the options for them?
Yeah, so there's a few different pathways. One is to get into dentistry straight out of high school, and you have to do the same test like the UCAT in addition to ATA usually, and there may be an interview process, or some unis have like a written application which is like supplementary part to it. But you have James Cook, you have La Trobe, Charles Stewart, Adelaide University. These universities take people undergrad, so like, you know, after year 12. The other option is to then complete something like science or biomedical science and then apply to one of the postgrad unis like University of Western Australia or University of Melbourne, Sydney, and University of Queensland, I think, do take some postgrads. So there's those two pathways. Another pathway is actually, there's a program called oral health therapy, which is like to become a hygienist. So it's a different pathway, like they do kids treatment and some of the cleaning. So there's that option, but there are some pathways where you can do oral health therapy like at La Trobe, and then actually if you perform well in that course, you can actually step up to doing dentistry. Like you, so it's like a special pathway there as well. So there's a few different options, I guess, for people. So,
Right,
yeah.
and that's the fortunate thing about living in Australia, I guess. You have so many pathways to get to like the same destination, so it's very adaptive and flexible to each person.
Yeah.
Dr. Gummy, I'd like to ask if you have any advice for year 11 and 12s who want to pursue dentistry?
Yeah, I think well, one option would then be to sort of find out a little bit more. I know like year 12 is a bit busy, but like, you know, maybe when you're doing work experience in year 10 or another time, it's not a bad idea maybe to see if you can visit a dental clinic and get some idea there, or even just doing some research online to try and figure out like what sort of the work for a dentist looks like. So I think that's actually good to do with any field. So whether it's a different field, you know, like sometimes we have an idea of what that field is. It's good to actually see what it's like, what are the working days like where you work and things. So find out a bit more information, and then try to see like, I guess, what kind of characteristics are ideal for that job, and see like understand yourself and see like what like sort of motivates you and if it lines up there. So like for me, like I think if you are someone that likes interacting with people, it doesn't mean that you have to be outgoing or anything like that at all. I think it's like even whether like, you know, some people like having that interaction with people. I think like a lot of people do in general. So I think dentistry allows that because you get to see a lot of different people and also make like meaningful interactions with them.
And I guess
So
you build upon that rapport and then they become loyal clients for years to come, right?
Yeah, but it's also like that part is very rewarding, I think. Like, you know, like sort of interacting and making connections with a lot of different people and helping them. So if they motivate you in that way, I think it's good to consider that. And I think the best thing as well, I think in year 12 is a lot of people sometimes get discouraged thinking like there's only one way, like, you know, after year 12 you have to get in. If you don't, like we mentioned before, there are other options. You know, you can do science and then apply, or a lot of different pathways, which is yeah.
That's correct. Well, Dr. Gamagir, thank you so much for sharing such remarkable and personal advice and experience with our viewers at home. I'm sure they really got something out of it if they are considering applying for dentistry. With that, it does bring us to the end of the segment today, so I'd like to thank you for your time in joining us today.
Thank you for having me here.
Join us again next week as we have a chat with Dr. Gamagir. Good morning and welcome back to another segment of the fascinating world of birds. Today, I'm joined with our keen bird enthusiast and bird expert, Chanith Wijeyaratne. Good morning, Chanith.
Good morning and thank you for having me.
So, Chanith, which bird species will you be talking about today?
Today we will talk about two closely related and fascinating species of parrot, the ground parrot and the night parrot.
Chanith, I'd like to ask, how common are these birds? If myself or one of our viewers at home were to go out and try to spot this bird species, would we be able to do it with ease?
That varies significantly. The ground parrot can be split into the eastern ground parrot and the western ground parrot. Whether these are distinct enough to be considered separate species is still a bit of a matter for debate. The eastern ground parrot is fairly common in some places, but is generally a bit of a difficult bird to see as it is quite shy. It is found in coastal heathland from Tasmania into Victoria, New South Wales and southern Queensland. The western ground parrot, on the other hand, is extremely rare and confined to a small area of heathland in southwest Western Australia, with very few birds remaining. Now the night parrot, on the other hand, is so rare that it is almost it has somewhat of a mythical status among Australian bird watchers. For a long period of time, the night parrot was thought to be extinct. Aside from the odd claimed sighting, there was no substantiated proof that the bird was still around. Then a certain naturalist found a population of night parrots, and since then several other small populations in inland Australia have been found. That said, seeing a night parrot continues to be essentially impossible for the Australian bird watcher unless you happen to be doing research on them.
Now, Chanith, I just want to ask, if myself or one of our viewers at home wanted to go outside and spot this bird species, how easy for us would it be? Are these birds common in Australia?
Both of these parrots are very interesting. They both have very shy habits, being very difficult to see. And when you see a ground parrot or a night parrot, it tends to be a quick view of one flying up as it realizes you're there before it buries itself deep in cover once more. Another interesting thing to note about these species is the way they call. Both ground and night parrots do not usually call during the day. The night parrot essentially never calls during the day, while the ground parrot will call during the day sometimes. Instead, a bit after dusk and a bit before dawn, the heathland in ground parrot country rings with the chorus of ground parrots whistling to themselves. The night parrot, on the other hand, tends to start up a bit after the sun has set, with a two-note beeping call.
And now, Chanith, in Australia, whereabouts is this bird species found? Have you spotted them on your bird travels?
As discussed earlier, finding a night parrot is essentially an impossibility for most bird watchers. Western ground parrot is somewhat similar. You might, if you are lucky, hear one if you are in the right habitat in the small region where they still persist, but getting a view is nigh impossible. However, eastern ground parrot is still not too threatened, and due to this, in the right sites, it is not too hard to get a view. Particularly in New South Wales, there are some sites where they will come out onto tracks and feed on seeding grass. For instance, famously the Beecroft Weapons Range, which is open on weekends. In Queensland, the Great Sandy National Park, particularly down Cooloola Way, is known to be a good site for these birds. In Victoria, the main site for them has unfortunately burned out, although some populations still persist around East Gippsland. And in Tasmania, this is truly the stronghold of this species, and it is quite easy to see in the southwest of the state, where you will often flush them while hiking.
That's remarkable, Chanith. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your expertise and insight on the ground night parrots.
Thanks again for having me.
Join us again next week as we discuss yet another fascinating bird species with Chanith Wijeratne.
Abacus Solar, latest and reliable solar systems, world best panels and inverters, price beat guarantee, supervised system installation, excellent after sales service. Call 1300 852 843.
Easy Hose Spring Sale is now on. Upgrade your garden reels and sprays today and save. Save on quality garden sprays. Save up to 30% on Australian-made Easy Hose garden reels. Stocks are limited.
Sanji Caldera Associates. With our headquarters based in Melbourne, Australia, you can locate our branch offices in Sri Lanka, Dubai, Canada and London, UK. Some of our services include skilled migration visa, family migration visa, employer sponsorship visa, temporary resident visa, business visa, tourist visa, student visa, administrative appeals tribunal review. Pursuit of excellence through tailored solutions.
The science of life, traditionally known as the Ayurveda. Consultations, diagnosis and treatments are done by fully qualified Ayurvedic practitioner Dr. Sam Dasanai. Sahandro Ayurvedic Center, best wellness experience.
Looking to buy a new hose reel but confused over quality? And you want to buy a locally made hose reel? Look for the genuine Australian-made AK Reels hose reels. Heavy-duty Australian design and patent. Using Australian-made hoses that last. By AK Reels, the Australian-made hose reels. Looking to buy a new hose reel but confused over quality? And you want to buy a locally made hose reel? Look for the genuine Australian-made AK Reels hose reels. Heavy-duty Australian design and patent. Using Australian-made hoses that last. By AK Reels, the Australian-made hose reels.
Hi everyone, today we have a special person in Sri Lanka Morning Show program. She's Karen Rubera, a young entrepreneur from Sri Lanka, and she runs her own business. And first of all, we would like to welcome Karen to Sri Lanka Morning Show program. How are you, Karen?
I'm quite well, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad. Karen, first of all, tell us about yourself and who you are and what inspired you to pursue the path of entrepreneurship.
Sure. So, as you know, my name is Karen.
Yeah.
I went to school at Good Shepherd Convent, Kotehena. I'm a chartered accountant and a lawyer by profession. Now, I started my entrepreneurship journey about 5 years ago. And what prompted me to become an entrepreneur are my children.
Right.
So I have 2 children, and I understood that having a young family, it's difficult for me to be in employment.
Of course.
So I decided that that is not for me. So that's what actually prompted me to get into entrepreneurship. And also what I realized is there are so many women who have come out of the workforce because
of their children.
Exactly. And I wanted to give them a platform where they can work, earn, while they're looking after their young families.
Maintaining work-life balance.
Exactly. So that's where my entrepreneurship journey started.
Karen, can you walk us through your business and what were the challenges that you face and how you overcome them?
Yeah. So as I said earlier, I'm a chartered accountant and a lawyer. So my company, we do outsourcing services, and we have 3 verticals.
Right.
Legal outsourcing, finance outsourcing, and construction services related outsourcing.
Right.
So the problem that we are trying to solve is that we want to give good value to our clients at maybe a fraction of the cost. Okay? And in doing so, we are also able to elevate Sri Lankan talent onto a global platform.
Right.
So we serve any kind of client who wants assistance in the legal arena, finance arena, and construction related services. Yes, globally.
Right. So currently, are you serving the international market?
Yes.
Yes.
Our main client base is here in Australia,
Right.
in both Sydney and Melbourne.
Right.
We also have clients who are based in the UK and in Canada. So for all means and purposes, we are a global company.
Of course. Now, particularly in Australia, now, as you said, you are specialized in legal,
construction
and
finance. Yes.
All right. Okay. So it's a good news for our viewers as well. Now, along your journey, have there been any mentors or influential people who help you shape the direction or your, the business, the platform?
Absolutely. I would say my first mentor was my father. He is the one of many people, of course, who laid the foundation for me to be where I am. And in my professional journey, there have been 2 main mentors who are based in Sri Lanka. I'm not able to say their names because I haven't got permission to mention their names on TV, but very influential gentleman and a very influential lady. Other than that, I do find Sir Richard Branson's work extremely important to what I do. Sir Richard Branson has said, treat your employees so well and they would look after your customers.
Of course.
And that is what I basically do. I look after my staff so that they will look after my customers.
Yes.
And so far, touch wood, that strategy has worked.
Yes. All right. I'm pretty sure in your journey you may have faced a lot of challenges, and could you please share with us what were the main challenges that you faced and how you overcome them?
Yes. So the first main challenge would be how we select our clients. Now, it is true that we are trying to elevate Sri Lankan talent onto a global platform, but we need to have clients who are ready to embrace the Sri Lankan talent.
That's right.
So it's a journey that we have to work on. Sri Lanka is a different culture. The culture in Australia, in Canada, UK, it's different.
Of course.
So we have to marry the cultures.
That's right.
So doing that also is a challenge because people may speak in English, but sometimes what we say could be taken in a wrong way. Yes, absolutely. The accent is different. So that marrying part can be very difficult.
So do you provide regular training and
Yes, we
development
do.
for your staff?
Yes, we do. We have a cultural expert who we have got on board, and she takes them through a rigorous training process.
Right.
And our employees are so much the better for that.
Yeah, interesting. And finally, what advice do you give to someone who want to become an entrepreneur in future?
Okay. First thing is find something you are passionate about.
Right.
That thing should motivate you to get up in the morning. you should wake up and say, yes, I'm going to do this.
Positivity.
Absolutely. So that's number one. Second thing is, being an entrepreneur means you're taking a risk.
Of course.
Okay. So you must also be ready to embrace that risk and that challenge.
High the risk, high the return.
Of course. So if they are ready to do that, then start.
Yes.
Sky's the limit.
And I'm pretty sure most of our viewers, the business crowd in Australia, especially in Melbourne, Victoria, now if they need to get your service and if they want to contact you, how can they contact you?
So my email address is karenr@investlabbusinesssolutions.com and the website is www.investlabbusinesssolutions.com.au.
And thank you so much for sharing this valuable information with us, and we wish you all the best from Sri Lanka Morning Show program for your next journey.
Thank you very much.
Very good morning to all of you. Hope you all are keeping well and having a good time and looking after your brain and brain health well also, and had a good sleep last night. Remember, we talked about the importance of brain health and good sleep in a previous segment. Today I'm going to answer a question that was coming to us almost repeatedly multiple times. We had a number of emails asking us to talk about what is good for brain health in a sort of simple language. We have been talking about brain health for a while, and we have been talking about life's 10 and various strategies to look after your brain. But the most simple way to remember what is actually good for brain health is very easy. I can answer this question in 10 seconds. You all worry a lot about your heart. Everyone knows about heart attacks. Almost everyone knows one should not have a heart attack and the danger of heart attacks, and you hear a whole lot of horror stories about heart attacks. And if I ask from you, do you know what is good for heart? You would say, oh, it is not good. These are the things that are not good for heart. These are the things that are good for heart. Most of you would say. But if I ask from you the question that you sent to me, what is good for brain? I'm pretty certain that most of you probably would take at least 1 or 2 minutes before you open up your mouth to answer. So the easiest way to remember what is good for your brain or brain health is actually answer that you would give for what is good for heart health. Whatever the thing that is good for your heart is just as good as for brain. Remember, you get heart attacks with narrowing and blockage of blood vessels supplying to your heart. You get strokes or brain attacks, if you like, due to the same reason, having narrowing or blood clots occurring inside the blood vessels in the brain. So you can see that in one way, heart attacks and brain attacks are similar. When your heart is failing to pump blood properly, you call it heart failure. We don't call when we get dementia or similar things as brain failure, but you could, for the simplicity's sake, you could imagine this as brain failure also. You can see where I am going. You can see that it make your life easier to think in this simple sense that things that we do to look after our heart well, in other words, eating healthy, sleeping well, managing blood pressure, managing cholesterol level well, eating plenty of fruits and vegetables, using things such as the olive oil or extra virgin olive oil, not using all kind of oils to fry things. In fact, try and fry as little as possible and use a thing like air fryer to do your frying without using high fat oil, and then not eating things that contain trans fat or higher amount of sugar. High amount of sugar means anything that contain more than 10 milligrams of sugar is regarded as higher. These are these are written in food packaging in Australia for sure, because that's a law here. You could basically select out what is good for heart. And you would also see Heart Foundation logo in most of these food items also. So generally speaking, as a sort of simplistic idea, things that are good for heart is just as good for your brain. So whatever the good things that you do to protect your heart will protect your brain also. There are a few extra things that you need to do to get supreme brain health or best brain health, that is exercising your brain. The physical exercise, in other words, the usual 150 minutes of exercise that your heart specialist would recommend you per week, including some upper body strengthening exercise also, such as lifting weight as per your medical advice, etc. They're helpful for heart. They are also helpful for your brain. But there are different kind of exercise series that you need to do for your brain. This segment is one part of that exercise. We are educating you on brain health. This would exercise your brain. Learning a new language, playing music, learning a new instrument, traveling, reading books that you don't like to read, such as documentaries or politics or history. These things also help to exercise your brain. Being the nicest human being that you can be is also quite good for you. When you have a lot of social connections, when you genuinely love and spread compassion and kindness to other people, this is also a very helpful thing for your brain health. So in a nutshell, what I wanted to tell you is every single thing that is good for your heart is good for your brain. So with that, I wish you all the very best and look after your brain and heart both. Very easy to do. You do the same thing for both. And exercise your brain also at the same time, and be nice to each other and be nice to yourself also. And we'll see you again next week. Take care.